Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and we are finally going to do another little update on the Sweet Heart Roadster. So, last couple of videos were some big steps. We got that last major rot repair done in the trunk area, and we made that rear tool-up panel, for lack of a better word. And now we are pretty much going to start dialing in some of the stuff that I worked on, but left some loose ends, not knowing how I was going to do things. So one of those things is the doors. I built those doors. They open and shut and latch nicely. They need to be gapped and adjusted a little bit, but they're not too bad. But one of the big things is I left a bunch of material when I folded this edge in, and I didn't fold it back down to finish it out because I didn't know what I was going to do. And I talk about it a lot in these videos. One of the reasons I like having a bunch of projects and jumping around is you aren't forced to do something that you don't like down the road. So I've been wanting to stare at this for a while, for like a month or two now, to try and figure out what I was going to do. And now I'm think I made a decision, and we can go through and finish it out. So today we're gonna work on the dash and the tops of the doors, see if I can get some pieces made and fit in there to get everything fitted up. And then I'm gonna show you guys the gauges that we're gonna be putting in this and trying to figure out a layout of the gauges so that next video we can start putting some gauges in this thing when we do the next update on the dash. So let's get started. All right, so I'll show you guys real quick before we start jumping in and doing the work. So this, to remind everybody, so this is a dash that I made from scratch for the car. This is an original Model A dash, Roadster dash rail that I modified to fit that, and that's all welded to the dash and fits on the top of the rail there. I just kind of modified the ends to make it flow down how I wanted and fit that dash I made. Now over here you can see I have all this excess material here that I left hang over. The original Model A doors, this piece actually folds down and kind of returns down into itself. So I was thinking about doing something similar to that, and that's why I left all that extra material. But I think it's not going to work how I want with flowing into the dash. So what we want to do is make this dash kind of like, if you've ever seen a 3536 Roadster, is a good example of something like that, where the dash kind of flows into the doors. It looks really kind of elegant. So that's what I'm going to do on this, is probably make up a piece here that it is about the shape of the dash rail, and then we're going to build it into the door. So I can actually get rid of this piece, and we're just going to weld that part right along the top here. It'll be a little easier to finish out in body work in the end. And then we'll have something that's to the face of the door here, and will eventually be visible and painted so the door card goes underneath of it. So that is the plan. We'll see where I end up once I start cutting, but we're going to cut off all this excess metal first. All right, so I made some of those blend panels, blend pieces at the end that we were working on. You can kind of see on the side and the edge there. There is some pieces I made where I actually welded into the A-pillar because we had cut pieces out when we put the dash in. So eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to weld the dash into this car. So I'm going to weld those two pieces together and blend it out so it'll actually, the dash will kind of flow around. I was going to make pieces that went like way out here and blend it around, but it started to kind of just seem like overkill. So I ended up going this direction. You can see when everything's all in, the doors are shut. Once we weld up those, you know, those lines on either side there, and I'll get the dash pulled against it, it'll all flow together and look like one piece. It's just that the dash, because when we cut the old dash out, there was some extra material over there that we had to fill in there and blend it in. So eventually that will be filled in, ignore that. So I started, now gauges, last part of this video is gauges. So I have this Stuart Warner Hollywood panel sitting here just for kind of a rough idea. I was thinking I would like to have the gauges kind of clustered in the center on this. But the gauges I'm using are over here on the bench, and the Speedo, or the larger gauges are too big. But so these gauges I've been hunting. We had a viewer send us one of these gauges that they didn't know what it was in mail call a while ago, and then I became obsessed with getting a full set. I have a full dash out of a 1950s Century boat, fancy boat, and it has the most kick-ass gauges, Stuart Warner gauges in it that are like gold and black and this grayish blue color with a starburst on it and the sun rays. I mean, they are freaking like the coolest face gauges I've possibly ever seen. You can see this one better, the glass is off this one. So I have this full set that I got here, and then I have numerous singles upstairs that I'll grab to kind of piece together a set or more than a set. So what I'm going to do is pull these out of this dash and scavenge the stuff I need out of the wooden dash, and then we're going to start laying these, use these for just shape and size to start mocking up how we're going to have the gauges without that gauge panel. So let me get these out and then we'll start showing you guys what I'm thinking. Did I bring any of those small gauges over then?
What's that?
Let's see if my dad.
What do you need?
Oh yeah, I did bring a small gauge, I'm sorry. I couldn't remember if I brought any of these small ones I was going to lay out. I don't know how many there is. There's fuel. We want water temp. I think they just say temp, so I could run one for oil temp to have an extra gauge.
Yep.
Water temp, oil temp, fuel, amps, oil pressure. That would be 5 small gauges and 2 big ones. So that might not be too bad. These gauges are a lot bigger than I cluster them in the middle like I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work because these main gauges are so big. Oh wow,
She's looking like
what do you
a lot of places down in around Lewis and Rehoboth.
Oh, okay.
But on the other side, not right on the beach, on the other side in the bay. And I told her if we get a place, I'd like to have a place that had a dock.
Yeah, you got quite a stash
There you
of
go. Yeah,
parts and pieces.
Yeah, well,
And she can
I
get
mean,
in the
but
boat.
that's great.
Yep.
That's revenue.
Instead of driving on the creek road.
I
Yeah.
can always tell people I plan on building cars till I die, so you gotta have enough parts to build whatever comes along your way. So now we just walk to the parts stash and just say, hey, I want a tail light. You know, you just go through and shop your own stuff. 'Cause
the grandchildren over the
I'm
weekend.
Yeah.
stashing it for myself, so you don't gotta pay.
But that's the
Yeah,
whole thing,
we're-
it takes time.
In the
This
middle.
stuff takes a
Mhm.
long time if you want it done right.
There we go. I'm gonna have to recreate this when I wipe it all off. Here.
Ow. That's hard to bend, man. That's strong as hell.
Using up all my TIG wire?
Yeah, well, only the junk little pieces.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, you leave that stuff lying everywhere.
What the heck? I'm gonna use that later.
I know.
I knew every piece and where it's at.
Yeah, you were saving that piece. I know, okay, yeah.
Now he's gotta waste a whole rod.
Call him baloney.
All right, so got a layout all set in the dash, and it's pretty cool. I didn't cut any holes or anything yet because I kind of mentioned it earlier in the video. I want to stare at this and make sure I like it, but as of right now, I really am digging it. So I took the 2 big gauges in the center, and then the 4 gauges, the smaller ones, we put them on the outside, but it looked kind of empty on the outside there. And I've always wanted with this car, since I pretty much started messing with it, to do dual glove boxes. So we had a Chrysler Dash that earlier in the project I had, and we had put in here, it was like a 30s Chrysler Dash, 33 or something. It had the dual glove boxes, super cool, but the shape of it I didn't really like. So I've kind of been evolving it from that Dash. So this is kind of a nice mixture of that. So what I'm gonna have to do is actually make glove box doors, because the pattern I had for the 32 3-window glove box door, while it is a good shape and I could have bought reproduction doors, when I put it in here, the shape did not match. So with this angle right here and the dash being flat, it just looked really odd. So what I did is I just ran my hand across the bottom and kept a parallel line, and then up here I actually kept my hand across the top and just kind of ran a line that matches this curvature of the dash. So I think it really fits the dash. It's kind of going with that like higher end, taking higher end parts from other cars, so much like an Auburn Dash, Packard, and some of the other brands had, and even the high-end Chryslers and stuff had dual glove boxes, or they had single glove box doors, which is unusual in that time frame. So I think this gives that look, which will be really neat, and it's kind of like elegant, if you will. So it makes it a little bit more of a custom / hot rod, which is what I'm going for here. So now that I got all these laid out here, again, I'm going to kind of look at everything, figure it out, and see if I like this. If I do like it, we'll start doing another video where I will be punching the holes in there. I'll make the glove box doors probably in another video, and eventually we'll get this dash all finished out. It's just a big project. I think I want to jump over to the steering box next, get that set in there with some kind of custom column drop, and then I'll really be able to see with the steering wheel and the box in there if I like the gauge layout. I may not like it, and I may want to change it. So that's why I'm going to leave it here and not punch any holes yet, just to make sure that once everything's in, I really like the layout and it looks good as a whole when we're done with it. So nice little quick project, an update on this. It's going to give me a little jump start on this car. We're past all the major rust repair, now we're into some of this fun stuff, and I can be a little creative again, so it's really cool. So let me know what you guys think in the comments of the gauge layout. Would you do something different, or do you like this setup? And let me know what you think of those cool gauges that we got for the car sitting. I'd love to hear what you guys think down below. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.